I'm sad today.
You're sad today?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because I've been really excited about something that I didn't do all of my like actual research on, and I did last night, and I was so excited. So Journey is back in concert.
Okay.
If you don't know Journey, just stop
Just hang out with
listening to
Tristan
this.
for
No,
5 minutes.
just stop listening to this
No,
and go and listen to some Journey,
not
and then
true.
come back. And so I was so excited because they were in concert.
Yeah.
They're going to be in Dallas. And so I was like, had the tickets all pulled up, and I was about to text you and Aaron last night. I've got them pulled up by 4. Here's the date. Let's go. It's a Saturday, but we'll just drink some Red Bull and still preach Sunday in the morning. But the concert is in Lubbock, not in Dallas, which is 5 hours away. I want to go see Journey. You and Aaron went and saw Bieber because Aaron's got Bieber fever.
Has the Bieber fever. And it's funny because he wore all his Drew house stuff, and I don't, he's a grown person and he's wearing his Bieber clothes, and these young people are running up to him like, bro, you're dripping, man, you look so good, oh man. And he is gaining more confidence in his Drew house-ness.
We went to
that's fine.
We went to a pastor's conference and we saw the recap video, and Aaron's wearing a big yellow sweatshirt with like a beaver on the back.
Yeah, it's a Drew House thing.
And so
with his giant yellow hat.
Yeah, it has like the panning view, and then there's this giant yellow beaver. And Aaron and I laughed so hard.
You think it's some 20-year-old kid? Nope. It's a grown man. Grown. It's okay. I love it, babe.
It's a 39-year-old man.
30.
Got you, bro.
I got your back. That's good. I love it. No, that's good. Well, we'll find something new and good.
Sad. I want to go.
Maybe Journey will come to Journey. Come to Dallas.
Yeah. Well, I think they did, and I missed them.
Oh, this is the like redo.
Yeah. I mean, they're going all over the place.
Yeah. Why don't we fly to a really cool place?
Well, they do have a Vegas.
Go see our friends, the Boers in Vegas, and then go watch Journey.
Yeah.
Hit us up, John. You want to go?
John, do you need me to preach for you the Sunday that Journey is in town?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah.
That's good.
I wanted to go do that. It fell apart. So I'm kind of like womp womp.
Well,
but Rachel, she don't know no Journey songs.
She doesn't?
No.
Oh.
She'd be singing a bunch of music with accordions in the background.
Accordions?
Yeah, Rachel listens to Spanish music. I don't. It all it all sounds like the same. It sounds like circus music to me.
Rachel, you're doing a good job, and I love the music.
No, you don't. Name one song.
Selena. I know Selena.
No. That's an artist that died.
Here in my room. Something about that.
Okay.
There's a song. I don't know.
But Titus, I got him on my side.
Yeah.
I got Titus. I made him a playlist. His favorite song is TNT or Thunderstruck.
Yes, that's
and
what I
so
was
he the other day was out on the trampoline listening to TNT on repeat on his iPad, doing the most aggressive karate trampoline jumps.
These are the dances he does.
And Titus can do the full splits. Here, we'll put a photo in.
Oh God!
Straight Jean-Claude Van Damme style. True. He drops down at any moment. Full splits. It's like nothing I've ever seen.
The bigger the audience, the more intensely he runs and jumps.
He'll just walk up into a group. We'll be at a funeral.
Yeah.
Walk up into a group of old ladies. Bam! Splits.
Like, look what I can do. Hey, I wonder where he gets that from.
Yeah, I don't know. His
weird.
Hey, look at me. Look at this thing I can do.
That's really funny. Well, that's good.
What's up?
What's up? More
guys, welcome to...
I love that our intros really have nothing to do with what we're actually going to talk about.
Hey,
you
listen,
know how some pastors,
they
get these big stories and then they tie them into their scripture reference.
Well,
we just have fun.
Let's talk about how the Tug of War started.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I wanted to do a podcast where we were teaching. I come in the first episode.
Yeah.
And I have notes.
A lot of notes.
I have my laptop open with notes. And you look like you're going to crap your pants.
I'm like, what?
You don't know. And then these two yokels over here, Bailey and Easton, they're like, no, you can't have notes. You just need to talk.
Because we do have riveting conversations in life sometimes.
Well, I think we'll have to check the view count to see how riveting our conversations are.
No, in real life, we're like, the goal was, let's have the same conversation we would just have in the office trying to figure out some stuff on a podcast rather than a pre-prepared.
But I'm saying I'm a pre-prepared guy.
Yeah.
I want to have a plan when I'm talking about important things.
This is a great thing. So you're saying that this podcast actually tugs you into more because it makes you do something outside of your comfort zone?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
I mean, really, COVID is the thing that got me okay with just having conversation.
Yeah, okay,
was I supposed to say yes? Yes, that is correct.
No,
this
it
is the
has
greatest.
been. You have, I think us having this conversation has helped, yes. And you're right, COVID is the start of it.
Remember, during COVID, we were doing like sermons at a bunch of different locations.
Yes.
And so we were looking for a place that had a teeter-totter.
I remember this.
AKA a seesaw.
Yeah, I remember
And so
this.
me and you and Bailey...
Yep.
We're driving around to
a bunch.
7
at least
parks.
Not like 7 Mansfield parks, 7 DFW parks.
Just to try to find an old school teeter-totter, and we couldn't find one.
God,
and while we're driving all over the Metroplex to find a stupid teeter-totter, we were talking about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just leadership stuff.
Yeah.
And Bailey's in the back seat.
Yeah, that's what.
And she says that first or second filming, she says, just like when you talked about this in the truck, trying to find the teeter-totter, that's what the tug more needs to be.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, close my laptop, threw in the garbage can.
Yeah, threw it in the garbage can.
And then
only try now to bring notes about things that you're super excited about.
And now we just talk.
Yeah. No, it's good. So today we want to talk about something that we have identified is something weird about us compared to a lot of leaders that we encounter in our life.
But I think it's weird about them.
Exactly. Well, I was going to say, but what we actually realize is for us, it is the thing that has helped us be who we are. And I never want to change. I don't care how fancy, smart, when Elon picks up this podcast and plays it on Tug of Mars. Good. I love it.
Call him.
When that happens, still, we want to be these leaders who do this thing because it's a big deal.
Yeah. So let's just set it up with a story.
Okay, go.
We, and the reason it's on the brain is because it just happened again.
It just happened 2 days ago.
2 days ago?
Yeah, not yesterday, the day before.
I don't know what day it is.
I don't either. It's fine, go.
I'm wearing sweatpants. What are they called? Joggers.
You're wearing joggers, not sweatpants.
It's one of those days. It's a jogger's day.
It's true.
So we go to this conference for pastors. Seminar. It's like a 1-day intensive.
Yeah.
And the main guy who's leading it is incredible.
Super smart, gifted leader, giant, has taken something from 13 people to what? 10,000 people? 8,000 people?
Has 9 campuses.
Yes.
This guy is a baller.
Smart,
I've
gifted.
referenced books that he's written on this podcast.
Yes.
Incredible leader.
Yeah.
And so he's up teaching. And throughout the day, he has 4 kind of main sessions.
Yeah.
And at the end of every session, he says, are there any questions?
Right.
And in a group of 200 pastors at round tables.
Right.
Ain't nobody have a question.
Well, let's back it up a second.
Except 2 people. We have some questions.
Have I got a question for you?
Yeah.
But let's talk about it first. We get there, we walk in, and the seats are not assigned.
Oh, okay.
And we're like, where are we going to sit? And we know people. We know a lot of people in this room.
I know everybody there.
And so we are like, where can we sit? And like everybody we know wellish is sitting in the back. Many of the leaders that we know are sitting in the back. And we're like, why?
There's a front row table literally
empty.
Open. So I was like, jackpot.
So we are like, let's sit at the front. So first, we're sitting in the very front. And then,
as always.
And this is what we do. Because one,
losers sit in the back.
A little bit. Well, I think both of our personalities are a little bit like, if I sit in the back, I'm going to be distracted by something else. I'm not going to be paying attention.
I'm going to be goofing around.
Yeah. So I'm going to put myself in a position.
I'm going to be throwing M&Ms at people in the front.
Exactly. I'm going to put myself in a position to learn, which is in the front. And then, I'm here to learn.
And so he's teaching this incredible stuff.
Yes.
And so whenever you're being taught something, the goal is to pull into your local, your like
context,
practical context.
Your way, yeah.
And so are there any questions?
Yes.
And Boom. So I ask the first question, and so they answer it. Credible answer.
Yeah.
Whitney and I are furiously taking notes because these geniuses are now giving me exactly what I need.
For free.
For free.
Right.
And so then he says, are there any other questions?
Cricket.
Nobody. And the girl with the microphone like kind of wanders back to the back.
Yeah.
And they're like, guys, are there any other questions? And so I'm like,
yeah, we have more questions.
I have another question. And so the girl comes back up. And now this time, the first time she held the mic because she was like, I don't know if I trust this dude.
Yeah.
Now gives me the mic.
Yeah.
And so I ask another question. And the day continues.
Progresses.
4 different topics of conversation.
You ask a question in every single one of them.
Every single one.
Yeah.
I get a text from a guy.
In the room.
Who says like.
Who's sitting in the back of the room.
Who's sitting in the back of the room. And he says, hey, bro, why are you asking all the questions?
Right.
He's like a buddy, you know.
Yeah, he's like teasing you.
And so I said, well, if some more people in the room would grow a pair.
I was like, are you going to say that? But you did say that, yeah.
They would ask a question.
Right.
And then I sent sunglasses emoji and then crazy face ha emoji.
We're so funny.
Because I'm really saying like, hey,
ask
bro,
a question.
Your church is so small compared to what this guy's doing. Me too.
No, right. All of us. Everyone in the room. Everyone. I said to you at one point,
this guy,
nobody in this room has a church half as big as his church.
This guy's church gives more money to missions than we bring in all year.
Than we bring in the last 3 years.
They give it away to missionaries.
It's so much money.
I need to learn.
Right.
Okay.
And so we are flabbergasted by the fact that none of these people are asking the questions. And then the question I asked, I said to you, like, you go with me asking this because I gave transparent information about our culture, our church, our numbers, our yearly, all that stuff. I was giving him some information. Here's where we were. Here's what we've grown to. Here's what we're trying to do. We want to be good stewards, all these things. And I am more than positive that half the people in the room were shocked that we were even willing to say those things out loud, much less ask the question that went along with it.
And so we go to the session. We're there from 9 to 3.
Yeah.
And you and I collectively probably asked 7 questions.
Right.
Do you know how valuable that was for us yesterday?
So valuable.
Because we were able to put into, from a genius, what our actual needs are.
Right. Because we can't jump to where he is today.
But everybody else in the room, they only had to eat what I was cooking.
Right.
I'm setting the recipe of the room.
Right, of like what.
And so the only things they're learning is what is already prescribed by somebody else.
One guy re-asked the same question you asked, remember? Which I was like, he wasn't listening.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. So, okay, so what is the podcast about?
The podcast is about, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
Like, don't be a good leader. Let's say it like that. A good leader asks questions. A good leader doesn't know it all.
Yeah.
A good leader doesn't presume to think he knows it all. The problem in that room, I believe, was that many people did not want to admit that they didn't know.
We were at this happens at all any conference we go to.
Right.
We were just at another big conference in Houston.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, this is a thing of who we are all the time.
We're at another conference and a buddy of mine's teaching who I know.
Right.
But he's really good at some things that I'm not as good at.
Yeah.
And so he's up teaching and he says, are there any questions? And so I get up and ask a question.
Of course.
And then I sit down. Nobody else has any questions.
Right.
And then he opens up and he says, are there any questions about anything that we do? And I'm like,
oh,
jackpot.
Okay.
So I walk back. Now, me and this guy, I have his phone number.
Right.
Like, I can ask him this anytime. But he's, poor dude's up there dying because nobody's asking.
This is an environment that has been set. And for this purpose, why won't you ask questions? So why won't people ask questions?
Because they're stupid.
No, I strategically wore my shirt. It's a Cher from Clueless because
Cher?
Cher, yeah. Dee and Cher, you never watched this. Listen, in like the 8th and 9th grade, I watched this movie way too many times.
Yeah, I was watching Lionheart. I wasn't watching that garbage.
So listen, the fear is everyone would tease her and, pick on her because she dressed cute and was fun but was willing to just be herself. And the fear is that you will be considered clueless, that people will think that you're an idiot when you have questions, because many leaders just want to act like they have it all together, that they have it all figured out.
Right.
But I'm like, we're going and putting ourselves in an environment to learn.
Yeah.
We are not clueless, except yes, we are. We're admitting that we're clueless. There's nothing wrong with being clueless. In fact, I want to know this information. That's why I gave all day of my day to learn it.
Yeah. I did not come there to hobnob in the lobby with other people.
Right.
I came to learn and step into more.
I did not come to look important.
I think that when we carry a posture like we already know everything, we then do not have the capacity to learn anything.
Correct.
And so there's something really powerful about being willing to ask a question.
Where we are and where we want to be, the space in between is time, and also understanding, learning of how we can get there. And I think that, like, golly, I think about where we were 6 years ago and how many people's spaces, whatever, how many people we called, we showed up to, how many people that you or I, either one, in different moments were willing to go, can you help us? But people are so afraid to ask for help because they think it will not make them look like a leader. But we believe that a good leader is willing to say, I don't know.
Yeah. In a previous episode, I talked about how I drove a distant mentor of mine to the airport, and I got lost on the way there. The reason that I was willing to drive him to the airport is because I knew that I would have a captive audience to ask him questions for 40 minutes while I'm driving him. Because I'm going to be able to gain and pick up knowledge. And what you're saying is so good that we have to be willing to ask somebody how we can get to that next level.
No, and what's funny, I think, for us, and this is not to toot our horn or whatever, but in that room that
we don't know much, but we know how to ask about what we don't know.
But I think that the proof is in that pudding, because in that room that we were in, though you and I feel pretty small in that room.
For sure.
What we actually know to be true is that of the people in that room, we were in the top 10% of the highest attended and growing and thriving, probably the top 5% in that room. And so it's not that we were so small we had to ask questions. It's that no matter how big or small you are, you need to see yourself small enough to ask the question and to say, hey, there's something more I can know. And even if the speaker had been someone leading an organization smaller than ours and carrying something
we can learn.
Exactly. And that is actually what you and I said, because we didn't really know what we were walking into for sure. The night before, we were like texting each other like, this is gonna be good, right? Should we go? And this is because we have a lot that we could be doing. But we were like, we will learn something and we will walk away with more information than we had before.
You can learn anywhere if you're willing to ask a question.
Absolutely.
I was eating lunch the other day at one of my barbecue spots, and the guy...
The amount you talk about barbecue, if people don't send you a gift card for barbecue, is kind of rude.
And so I'm there at the restaurant eating, and the owner comes out and talks to me. He's a buddy. And so he tells me how he's lost like all of his staff through the COVID year, and how he's got a whole new staff. I said, man, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry. He said, yeah, it's hard. And I said, are you freaked out? Like, are you stressed out that the barbecue's going to like not be as good? And he looked at me so confused, and he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, like all the cooks left. Like, is the barbecue going to be as good? And he said, dude, I own all the recipes. Mm-hmm. And in this moment, I realized I need to learn something. Yeah. And so I said, hey, tell me what you mean. What do you mean you own the recipes? And he started saying, dude, I'm the one who made this thing and made that. And so though the staff might change, I'm the one who sets the culture. Right. I'm the one who sets the recipe. And I said, okay, how do you get the new staff on-ramped? Because we're hiring. We're doing things. Yeah. And so I'm learning from a barbecue dude who only has 3 employees about how he implements his recipe into new people. And I'm sitting there, and as he's talking, I came back and I said, I got to tell you something. Listen to what barbecue dude told me. And I learned that when we can go through life not already knowing it all,
right,
and being willing to learn, then we can get to more.
Well, I think that what you're saying, as you're telling that story, I'm thinking of so many other stories in our life, because when you shift your brain to be an all the time learner, to be a learner everywhere you are, you're able to learn new things everywhere you are. We went to Vegas, no, it's not Vegas. No, Cabo. When we're in Cabo, there's this guy, Jimmy, that we go to his restaurant now every time we're there.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy is a guy
who used to
work. He used to work in Vegas. That's why I was thinking Vegas. And he brought all his, Italian recipes.
He's like a good fella. He's like used to break kneecaps back in the day. Like, why do you have to move to Cabo, Jimmy?
Why are you in Mexico? But he is incredible. And watching his team work everywhere in Mexico is no pasa nada. Like, just chill, just slow.
Siesta City.
But this restaurant, they are turning tables. They are moving and shaking. And it is incredible. And we learned so much eating at Jimmy's restaurant.
Well, we asked him to sit down.
And he did.
He sat down at our table. I said, Jimmy, we've been here all week.
Yeah.
Every restaurant is slow and not on it.
Yeah.
You guys are killing it. How did you do this here?
Yeah.
How did you literally shift the culture of a country in this small restaurant. Italian restaurant? And he just started dropping wisdom on us.
So much gold that we are like, what? And so, like, I'm telling you, we have learned that we have to be willing to humble ourselves and put ourselves in a position of we don't know.
Yeah.
And man, we know a lot of things, but we can always learn something.
Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord. Do you know that song?
Are you supposed to sing it around? Humble yourself. The girls sing it and the boys sing it.
He will lift you up. Then all the ladies go, higher and higher. Do you remember that song? Yes. You've got to humble yourself and ask.
Right. And
you know, Rachel,
go.
So good, man. When we had kids, Rachel started having a hard time like managing all the things at the house.
Yeah.
How to keep the house in order and the kids fed and the things and me and it was a new like life change.
Right.
And so you know what Rachel did? She just set up a bunch of conversation with ladies in the church who had 3 or 4 or 5 kids.
Said, how do I do this?
How do I do this?
Right.
What she could have done is been like, I'm the pastor's wife.
Right.
I have to be the ultimate leader.
Right.
But instead, what she did was she went to some other ladies who in other areas don't have it all together.
Right.
But as far as, you know, getting the bed made or whatever, or eggs cooked, and she said, hey, how do you do what you do?
Right.
And she learned.
Let's talk about what you're saying. So it's humility of they may not do everything the way I would do it.
Yes.
But there's things they can teach me. In this same conference, you asked a question that multiple people came up to you and said, thank you for asking that question. I was wondering the same thing because they didn't have the guts to ask it. But there was something they were teaching that is different. Yeah. It's not like biblically, theologically like that. It was just a
philosophy.
It was just a practice that they were teaching differently than we were teaching. And you asked it. You were willing to say,
here's how I do it.
Here's how I've been doing it. It's different than what you're saying.
Yeah.
Is that what you think? And they were like, no, this is actually what I think. And you and I walked away like, yeah, we don't really agree with that.
Yeah.
What we had the opportunity to do in that moment is what I think so many leaders do. Oh, well, he doesn't think like me, so never mind.
So I'm going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm going to throw it all away.
Now I'll just sit here and make fun of everything he's saying.
Yeah.
Or everything the other guy's saying. Yeah. Or what they're doing. Now I'll just kind of poke at it instead of being humble enough to go, okay, we don't do everything exactly the same.
Yeah.
But we can still learn from it. Humility is not just enough to ask the question, but then to receive it with the understanding that the context may not be perfect, but it can still be something we can learn from. Because the rest of it is incredible, and we can take every bit of what he's doing and implement it for us.
So asking questions is the thing that leads to knowledge.
Absolutely.
Like my kids ask me questions all the time.
All the time.
Daddy, how does the car drive down the road?
Right. You remember that season?
And so I'm explaining pistons and crankshafts and I'm teaching Titus how it works.
And you remember that season where they would just say why
No,
all the time because they want to know why it does what it does or how it does, and
I don't watch Star Wars.
Yes, we know.
I've never watched Star Wars.
No, yeah. Right.
I'm not like anti-Star Wars. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah.
And so on May 4th,
they say May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. So Titus comes home all excited to watch some Star Wars. I do not know anything about it. You know what I did?
What?
I text Tim.
You did?
Shout out Pastor Tim.
Good job,
I said,
Tim.
bro, Titus wants to watch Star Wars. I know you love Star Wars. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
What do I even do? I got some advice from a friend so that I could have success with my son.
It's really good.
Tim sets me up. We watch the movie. I don't know what the junk's happening.
Right.
I don't know if Anakin is Luke. I still don't. Is that dude Darth? Why does that guy have red horns? I don't know what the heck.
Even?
Did the guy die when he got stabbed with the thing? What's up with this Jabberwocky looking alien? I don't know. I'm texting Tim because Titus is asking me questions that I don't know, and I have a resource.
It's really good. No, it's really good.
But it's everything from like, how do I lead my marriage to what episode of Star Wars should I watch with my kid? Your life can be better if you're willing to ask people who know.
Yeah. And I think we get it right as kids. And then we get insecure. Mm-hmm. We get arrogant. We get afraid. We get all these things in us. The voices of other people. What are they going to think when I'm saying these things? Because even sharing in that room, sharing some of our information of our church was like, I asked you, like, are you good with me saying it? Because I'm like, that is intimidating to tell it out loud, because what if somebody in the room laughs and thinks that's dumb? Yeah. What if somebody thinks we grew too slow? I think we grew fast. They might think this. But as children, we had such an eagerness
to learn,
to absorb all the kids will ask you the same question over and over again, and we will get frustrated as parents. But I was never then afraid of what anybody thought about the question I asked. But now as an adult, it's like, well, what will they think? How will they perceive it? What will be said?
If you haven't listened to our episode called I Don't Give a Crap,
this is the thing.
It's
the game changer of the thing.
Because the reason we could ask the question is because
I don't give a crap.
I don't care what the people in the back think, because they're not going to be able to help me.
No.
So they think I'm asking a question that maybe they know the answer to. Cool. I don't.
Right.
Right. So I'm going to ask it. And so I think for the listener, where's an area that you want to advance?
Right.
Okay. So you select the area you want to advance. Who is somebody who is advanced in that area?
Right.
And then how can you ask them?
Yeah. And then everywhere you are, how can you learn something where you are today in the context of where maybe you can't go to a seminar. Maybe you can't fly across the country to a conference, or to put yourself in go to Cabo and meet Jimmy. But you can learn anywhere. Yeah. And so how can you be aware of what you can learn around you? I think that's so important.
We've got a guy who watches Tug of War.
Yeah.
He lives in a totally different state. And he pretty regularly will text or DM me questions about the episode. Yeah. That for him, hey, here's what's happening with me. Here's the situation. What do you think? Yeah. And I'll tell him what I think. And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Right. But at least it expands his thought process.
Yeah, for sure. And it gives context. And I think, for me, when we've been able to ask questions from others, it gave us the confidence to run in what we believed was right for us. Yeah. That even if their answer wasn't exactly what our answer would be, it gave us the confidence to know, okay, they've learned it this way, or they've struggled in it that way. You know, questions open up the conversation for them to tell you more than they were going to tell you originally. Yeah. And for us, we've found so much that even when we've asked questions and gotten the answer we didn't want, we now have the confidence to run into what we know is right. Yeah. Because we're like, hey, we've learned from so many different places, and we'll just keep learning. And if we do it wrong, we'll just try it again.
Yeah. We had a guy in our church just a couple weeks ago who said he wanted to go to lunch. And so him and I went to lunch, and then I'm learning, like, this guy has a lot of wisdom about our city. Yeah. He's been here since
a long time.
He's born here. Yeah. I've only been here 12 years. And so he knows all kind of stuff. Yeah. And so after we ate, I was like, let's drive around. Just tell me some stuff. Yeah. And so we're driving around. He's telling me who owns that property and who owns that, and this family there, and these people here. And he's just, I don't even know all the way what I'm going to do with the knowledge that I gained. Yeah. Well, I do one thing. He gave me one thing that is going to help me step into something. Right. And so sometimes just having an open, taking the lid off your mind and just asking, you don't even know what's going to happen with that.
No, because what it does is it expands your conversation. That we get, people who tug into more, we are running pretty quickly in the direction we're going. Yeah. But because we've decided to be question askers, like, that is a value you and I hold in our hearts as people. Then now, where we have encounters like our context is ministry and Jesus in the Bible. We have had for sure God ordained encountered moments because we've slowed down and kept asking questions where we maybe came in originally with a, hey, do you know where to find, or how can we do? And then in the moment felt this like, hold on, keep asking, keep going. You might not get the answer you're looking for with the first question, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep asking questions. Keep going. And so if you will use that as a practice of your life, not just when I go to a conference, ask a question. If you do not do that, you are not trying to step into more. So that is like a base level, go to a seminar. We tell our team, like, if you're going somewhere, ask a question. Make sure you're going to have a question ready in your back pocket. But in life, take it as a practice that leaders ask questions. It's just who they are. It's who we should be.
Well, people say leaders are readers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But leaders should also be question askers.
Absolutely. Be curious.
So we don't ask because we want to put off the aura that we already know.
Right.
We don't ask because we're insecure that we're going to look stupid if we ask a question.
Right.
We don't ask because maybe they won't tell us something that we like.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll tell us what you were saying. Maybe they'll tell me something that's contrary to what I was
hoping.
You don't have to just blindly obey what the person says.
No.
Maybe they just give you 10% of a way to
perspective.
think through it.
And we don't ask sometimes maybe because we think they don't want to answer. We think they don't want to help. I think about in the beginning, so many people when we were willing to go and say, hey, we just need help. Could you help us?
Yeah.
We've had so many people say, what was intriguing about you is that you asked for help, is that you were even willing to say it. I know for me, there's people in my life that will ask me questions. Just, hey, how do you do? Hey, how did you? And I'm always willing to answer their question. In fact, I'm grateful that they asked the question.
What's the saying that about history repeating itself?
Yeah. History repeats itself. It is the saying.
So that's all.
That history has a history of repeating itself. So that's what it is.
But we have an opportunity that we can either just learn only from the school of hard knocks, and just get beat around in life and figure it out on our own, or we can ask somebody, and we can navigate it. We can navigate it better.
Right. No.
I use GPS when I drive places, because it knows stuff I don't know.
Absolutely.
I ask it, here's the address, map me.
Yeah.
But in leadership, we don't do that.
No, we're afraid.
If you're trying to get to a destination, ask somebody who's already been there.
Right.
Google Maps, Siri has already been there. She got a satellite.
Right.
I don't have a satellite, so I'm going to ask Siri. Ask somebody with a satellite, man. No, they've already been there. They have a higher vantage point, a higher perspective. Just this morning, before we shot this episode, Bailey and Easton were talking to me about some student ministry youth stuff and asked me some questions. So smart.
Right.
To ask me a question because I was youth pastor.
Right.
And I speak in a microphone all the time.
Right.
And so they're just hungry to figure some stuff out. We just hired a new guy on our team. He's brand new. He's been asking questions.
Right.
To understand, okay, I don't want to just do it how I've been doing it.
Right. How do y'all do it?
How do y'all do
this part? Yeah. No, it's so good.
Easton, he asked us, what are some questions that we ask?
Yeah. What are some base level starter? If you're like, okay, I've never asked a question before, what are some good questions?
Why do you do that?
Yes. No, that's what I think the most is that, like I was saying, our kids ask us why? Because they want to not just know the answer; they want to know how you got there.
Okay.
Same as
some good
for us.
Some good question starters.
Yeah.
Why do you do that?
Yeah.
What do you think I should do?
Right.
What's my next step?
Mm-hmm. What are the ways you? If they're giving you an information piece, what are the ways you arrive to your decision making? Who
else should I ask about this?
Yes. Yeah.
These questions, man, are a big deal.
Yeah.
If you want to advance, if you're a realtor, you could just do it by yourself.
Right.
Or you could try to get another conversation with another realtor in another city who's sold 10 times the stuff that you did.
Yeah.
Go and ask them some questions.
One of our best questions is, how did you start? One that we've asked people a lot that has helped us when we were starting is how did you start? Or where did it, for the guy that we were meeting with two days ago, he is at such a higher level of where we are, but he gave us the context of where he began, and that helped us go, oh, so he learned the same levels, he's been at the place where we are. And that gave us so much okay, so we can keep going. So ask them their journey, ask their story. You and I are the best at like sitting with people and just going, you know, you go to lunch with people all the time. Very rarely do people ask about you. You know, they just don't. But we will always ask about them. Like, tell me your journey. Tell me your story. If you don't have a question for somebody, but they are there, get the wealth of knowledge started by just saying, hey, where did you first begin?
Yeah.
I think there's so many questions we can ask, but those are good ones.
Something we land almost every episode with.
Yeah.
Here at Tug More is we say, hey, questions. If you have any questions,
right,
let us know. Hit us up. And sometimes people do, but sometimes people don't. And so if you have a question,
ask it.
Ask it.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll have the answer, maybe we won't.
Yeah.
But whatever we say will at least get your brain thinking in a new direction.
Right.
And that's kind of the goal. It's
Absolutely.
Not the answer, but it's a step closer to the answer.
Yeah, or a perspectives that will allow you to go, okay, well, my perspective is this, their perspective is that. We can meet somewhere in between. I love it. I hope that more people from this conversation will learn that it really is a good thing to ask questions. It doesn't mean you're dumb. It means you're smart.
Yeah. You know, I think that in those conference contexts or even like one-on-one conversations, that people won't ask questions because they're afraid of how to ask it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how do I, like, the concept of knowledge that I need is so big and my story is so much.
Right.
How do I ask this person that I respect this question so that it's simple?
Simple
and
succinct.
we get insecure to just open our mouth sometimes. And like, dude, fumble over it.
No, I felt that way even asking the question I did. And at the end basically said, I'm not even sure how to ask what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Because I just was like, I want to know their process, but I'm not sure how to ask this in a way that I'll get the right answer I want.
Yeah, I can't unpack for you 30 minutes of context.
Right.
But I'm going to try to give you in 30 seconds context.
Yeah.
And that question wasn't well said, but what do you think?
Yeah.
And if the person you're talking to is smart, they've
gonna,
already been where you are.
Absolutely.
And so they're going to be able to fill in the gaps and speak to it.
No, I think it's really good.
Just shove it out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Just let it fall out and ask the question.
Well, you were mentioning that earlier today, Bailey and Easton were asking you some questions. I think one of the great ways we can ask questions, what they were asking you was based in some frustrations they were struggling with. And I think that we can ask based in our frustrations because leaders, we're all leading something.
This is driving me crazy. What do I?
And as leaders, we all have things that are frustrating because we're tugging into more. It's a fight. It is a struggle. It is a tension. And so like, if you have questions about, if you have frustrations and you meet and encounter a leader that's probably navigated something like that, ask him based on the frustration rather than just holding on to the frustration. I think that that's the thing. You can go to a seminar or conference, you can encounter somebody who's teaching, but they didn't really ask the thing you were hoping they would talk about. That's okay. At the very end of that session, the 4 sessions, they said, okay, now we'll answer any question based on anything you have a question about.
Yeah.
And if there's something you're finding a frustrating moment, something you're hitting a wall on, man, we've had times where we've like circled the mountain and tried to solve it and couldn't. Go ask somebody else a question on those things. Those are the best way to help you advance. And why not? You're already frustrated about it. You might as well go talk about it.
So whatever's frustrating you in life, right now, you have an opportunity.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube or Apple or Spotify.
Yep.
There's a way for you to comment.
Yeah.
You can ask a question, not about question asking, well, maybe, or about any area in life. As you've already known from our 50 or more episodes, we'll talk about a wide variety of subjects. Ask it, and we will talk about it.
Right.
And it might not perfectly answer where you are, but it will start your brain thinking in a new direction.
Right. Yeah. All the time we get, like you said, we get the DMs that help us go, oh, this is a good area where people need. And you're right. Most of them are based in, this is something I'm struggling with. So just ask it. Don't be afraid.
Best question out of this podcast that we receive in the week that we launch it, we're going to mail you a free Tugmore sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah. Do it. Okay.
We got some Tugmore swag. We got Tugmore sweatshirts. So from when this is posted, 7 days from now, whoever's the best question, we're going to mail you a sweatshirt.
The one important thing to think of,
yes, Pastor,
is that when you ask the question, so you did not agree with one of his answers.
Yeah.
But you did not go, well, I disagree with you because I am so smart.
Yeah.
And I have my own knowledge. You just were humble and received the question.
Yeah, because he wasn't wrong.
He was right in his context.
He's wrong for us, for the size of where we are and like the maturity of our organization.
We talked about it when we went back to set up a teardown at the pig. We went to a leader that we respected and trusted, told him our scenario, and he told us, don't do it, is what he told us.
Yeah.
And we did not say to him, you're wrong. And we saw him again recently, and we did not run up to him and go, hey, you were wrong about that thing. We did it. No, we just, hey, man, how are you?
Yeah.
That's it. So, like, receive their answer well, too, though, when you're asking a question.
Really hey, we might not know you, but we love you guys.
That's
we
true.
do it so that you can step into everything that God has for you.
Yes.
Keep on tugging, baby.
Yes.
See
Love
ya.
y'all.